Good afternoon, everyone. 4:30 on a Thursday edition of On Cue. As always, I'm your host, Rich Quinones. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock straight up. As a reminder, you can capture us on X, on Facebook, as well as our YouTube channel at Rich Q on Q. Don't forget to get social with me on this 9th of October, 2025 at Rich Q on Q, XIG Rich Q on the mic, on TikTok. And you guys have been absolutely amazing over the past several weeks with the subs, with the comments, with the jumping on board. And I can just say this. Let me start here. Let me start by saying on this Thought Out Thursday that we are coming to you cranky. We are coming to you a little tired. We are coming to you a little pissed off, a little aggravated. I mean, this is what I got to deal with. This is what I have to deal with. I got to deal with the Philadelphia Eagles, who are probably going to squash my Giants tonight with a friggin' get-right game. I got to deal with the friggin' Phillies. And no, I'm not wearing the Phillies colors. I'm not ringing the friggin' bell because Dave Roberts is a jackass for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And finally, Rob Thompson figured out with his starters last night. I mean, he managed that staff brilliantly. Schwarber, finally cracking heads with a ball that still hasn't friggin' landed out there out west. I'm not. That's not even the aggravation today on a Thursday, because I already know you guys are going to troll the hell out of me. I already know. I just know for a fact the Bunker Boys are going to come out. I know Vince is going to have something regarding the Cleveland Browns and Sanders. I'm not even looking at the comments. I know that's what I'm up against on this friggin' Thursday. But I'm going to take the lumps because we're going on 4 or 5 hours sleep, because you guys know we call the basketball games late at night into the morning. But I'm here for you. But I need you guys to be here for me today, because again, my Yankees decide we are going to come up short. And I don't want to hear this nonsense about Toronto being the better team. I don't want to hear this nonsense. The fact is this: the Yankees, every single solitary season, okay, aside from 2009, the last time they won the World Series, come up small. And I'm at the point, I'm past the point, not even at the point, if that makes sense. I'm past the point of defending Aaron Boone. And I'll say this too, Aaron Judge did everything he needed to do. He had his moment the other night, again, got on base last night, kept him alive. I can just go around the block with why I'm just so aggravated and pissed off. Once again, with this roster and how it's constructed. Once again, with these starters, once again with this lineup, once again with the manager, who has shown me time in and time again that he is not a big game manager. And it's almost as though he gets a free pass for his lifetime because that ball hasn't landed against Tim Wakefield many moons ago. Enough is enough. Enough is enough already. If George Steinbrenner, God rest his soul, was still alive, guess what? You're going to tell me there's going to be no changes? Cashman and Boone would have been gone. They would have been out. That would have been it. I can't every single solitary friggin' season going through the same nonsense. It's like being a Giants fan. Constantly just the losing mentality, the losing mentality, the losing mentality. Unbelievable. It's so bad. It's like 10 to 15 years of piss poor football. And now I got to watch this nonsense every year where these young friggin' just clueless, cocky Yankees fans think it's just great to get into the postseason. Like it's a rite of passage. Boone needs to go. I mean, it's not even an argument. He needs to go. He needs to go. His playoff managerial record compared to other Yankee skippers sucks. This guy doesn't have a clue. And I can go back, I can harken back again to last year in the World Series. And the mistakes and the blunders. It's just stop. You go back last year, this clown brings in Cortez to face Freddie Freeman in the World Series. Then he turns around in the 7th inning in game 1 of the wild card round. This year, what does he do? Let's move Max Fried. Let's remove Max Fried. I mean, he's managed exactly as many playoff games as his predecessor, Joe Girardi, did. And he's failed to post a winning record or win a World Series. It's embarrassing for the money they're paying these guys and the lineup that they've assembled. And I also blame Cashman. Look, we can sit there and we can talk about, again, some of the problems last night. We can talk about why in the world you continue to stick with certain players when you know it's a mistake. I mean, that's another thing. Nobody ever wants to talk about that. It's like football. When you know the quarterback's struggling, sometimes you got to bench him. It doesn't matter if he's a top 5 draft pick. Sometimes you have to do that. I'm watching this nonsense because I had to go back and watch a freaking game today. And oh, by the way, thanks for everyone, all my boys out there who would not even let me freaking get some rest today and sleep. But I got to go back and I got to watch Volpe. Like, why are you not pitch hitting for Volpe? This dude is a walking strikeout. This guy's a walking strikeout. It's unbelievable. I mean, you're trailing by 3 runs. You got 8 outs remaining in the friggin' season. You can barely afford to waste one, let alone Volpe at bat, and it's an automatic strikeout. But what does Boone do? He sticks with him. He's the embattled shortstop. We're going to stick with him. Here we go. Struck out. And what could possibly have been the last at bat in a historically awful ALDS. Struck out 9 times with 0 hits in 3 games. 1 of 15, 067, 11 strikeouts in the ALDS, 13 straight outs. That's brutal. You know, you got Chisholm in his defense. Yeah, you get the friggin' bases loaded, and Wells goes up there with his porno mustache and let me take a swing at the first pitch. I mean, come on, stop. Work the count. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm just absolutely over it with this nonsense. Boone has to go, but they're never going to get rid of him. Ever. Ever. It's like he's there for all time. He might be robotic. It might be in 15, 20 years, could be an AI version of Aaron Boone. And by the way, Derek Jeter's 100% correct. The front office calls the shots, right? You know, I get it. Boone's accepting of it, allows it, but again, you know, let's be honest here. You know, the manager has to call the shots. Then why the hell do you have the manager in baseball? The manager's job is to manage the pitching staff. That's it. Other than that, you know, don't be boneheaded like Dave Roberts, who again, you know, you sit there, what the hell you going to Kershaw yesterday? I mean, if you're a Phillies fan, you're probably thanking your lucky stars because now the Phils, they're back in this friggin' series. First pitch, 6 o'clock on the West Coast, down 2-1. But it's utterly ridiculous. It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening. Then, to couple things off, right, the coup de grace, I got to turn around tonight if I can actually keep my friggin' eyes open. And again, I got to turn around and I got to watch the Giants, who are pretty much going to get smacked tonight. That's a 35-6 game. That's 35-6 gotten written all over. And then I'm going to get abuse on a friggin' Friday. I can't even spite pick tonight. That's how aggravated and annoyed I am. Because I refuse to. New York sports at this moment, they stink. They stink. Giants haven't won a championship since 2011. Yankees haven't won a championship since 2009. Rangers haven't won a championship, Stanley Cup, since 1994. The Mets, 1986. The Islanders, Mike Bossy and crew, 1984. The Knicks, I'm never going to live to see a Knicks championship, 1973. And God forbid, poor souls, if you're a Jet fan, Joe Willie, Super Bowl III in 69. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Yankees out of the postseason, Giants season done by October. I mean, seriously. And you guys want to sit there and you just want to yuck it up. You want to yuck it up and just enjoy it. You want to enjoy my friggin' misery. The other thing is my fresh roasted cup of coffee, left it downstairs. So we got a lot of stuff going on today. A lot going on. We'll get your thoughts on the Yanks. We'll get your thoughts on the Fightins as well. Listen, I'll give them credit. The Phillies last night, you know, they showed you some heart. They showed you some heart last night, and you got to give them credit. And the bats finally woke up, right? They finally, I mean, that ball that Schwarber hit, my goodness, I think they said only Willie Stargell hit a ball further. I don't know what watching Kershaw, I mean, that was just brutal to watch. It was brutal to watch, man. I mean, why in the world is Roberts leaving Kershaw in for the eighth after he just got out of the seventh unscathed, right? Right? Think about this. Like, you almost listen to the broadcast, they're like, are you throwing the game here, right? I mean, no one's, I know the announcer, Brian Anderson, talking about Kershaw, and, it's not going to be a blemish on his career and World Series champ, first ballot Hall of Famer, blah, 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 blah. Hey, can we talk about his postseason numbers? He's 13-13 all time in the postseason. His ERA is 4.59. I mean, abysmal. 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 The questionable moves by Roberts, no doubt, in this series almost gave the game up in game two. But Thompson was the story last night because, again, he got it right. And you have to give credit where we always are quick to blame the manager for pulling the starter, keeping the starter in, not going to the bullpen, not going to relief, not shoring up the game. But what did he do last night with Nola and Ranger Suarez? It worked out. It worked out. And that's all you can ask. It doesn't matter how it gets done. Could be ugly. You get 2 frames from Nola, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, 0 runs. Here you go. He gets pulled in the start at third. All right, everyone's going crazy, probably on social, right? He's cooking. Leave him in. He's hot. And then Suarez comes in, gives up nothing the rest of the way. Went 5 innings of 5 hit ball. Struck out 4. Allowed 0 runs after the homer. Threw 73 pitches, 51 for strikes. I mean, I pulled up his numbers. 11 postseason games in his career. He's allowed 1 run or fewer in 10 of those appearances. 1.48 ERA. Fantastic. So now the Phillies have some friggin' life. They've got some life. And you never know what's going to happen tonight. The Dodgers, maybe they tighten up a little bit. Phillies feeling a little goose. Sanchez will be on the hill. Glass now, pardon me. Here you go. Try to close it out for the Dodgers. So you got baseball, and as I mentioned, you got Thursday night football, which, again, I just think it's going to be a game where the Giants get friggin' steamrolled. It's unbelievable. De facto chimes in just here for the spite pick. My guess, Dodgers, Giants, and Panthers for the spite trifecta. What are you talking about, the Panthers? What, Carolina? Well, hold on. You going hockey with me? Is that where de facto is going? I mean, I can just imagine the lazy clowns. Is that what they're talking about on Philly Sports Talk Radio? Maybe locally? What game you going to watch tonight? How are you going to do it? Are you going to split the screen with the Giants and the Eagles and Philly and the Dodgers? I mean, I don't know. Are the Flyers in action tonight? Are we dropping the puck? Am I going to spite pick? Let me see. Are the Flyers in action? Flyers and the Panthers. There you go. Book it. Here we go. Okay. Yes, I really don't give a shit right now. It's friggin' October 8th. The Yankees just got bounced. The Giants are going to get crushed. Our season's going to end in Halloween. And you think I give a shit about friggin' Flyers, orange and black, Flyers hockey, or Rangers hockey right now, de facto? The hell out of here. And you know what? Just for that, you know what? Give me the Florida Panthers tonight. You want me to spite pick? I'll spite pick. If that's what you want me to do. That's what you want me to do. You want me to do that? I'll do that. Don't start on a thought out Thursday because I'm dealing with a lot today. No coffee, lack of sleep, horrible Yankees playoff loss, and the Giants are just poised to get absolutely hammered tonight against the Eagles. As we like to say, the get right game. Oh my goodness. All right, we got a lot to get into. A lot of NFL too, by the way. And I want to dabble in a little college because I told you guys this prior to that UNC was making a grave mistake hiring Belichick. I said it with Costco. He argued with me. I said, I don't like the fact that the ink's not dry. Belichick is basically toying with UNC. And now there's reports they're already looking for a way out from the hoodie. We'll get into that. We got a lot of NFL, as I mentioned, the Giants and the Eagles, perhaps a get-right game for the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. Their offensive line a little banged up. The Giants come in with some injuries. They're banged up as well. Dart is going to go. Right now, the line hasn't moved. I told you it was going to open at 6.5, and I said, wait, it's going to close right around 7.5, and that's where we're at. It hasn't moved in 3 days, so the line's sitting at 7.5 for Philly on the road. That is a very low number for the total. 40.5 is extremely low. Giants defense going to have to keep them in this game. But we'll get into your Yankees thoughts. We'll get into your Phillies thoughts as well. Kevin C., Tom, Joey D. See a lot of you guys. Mike, again, chiming in on the Yankees. We will definitely break that down. Let me see what else you guys are saying on this Thought Out Thursday. There's no spite picking today, right? What is this? Let me go through some of these. Where the 100 sticking together during the count. Not sure what that is. Keep Boone forever, says the madman. De facto, I have a very unique BMX bike as a kid. Aaron Boone wanted to try it. I said he could, but I called no skids. Okay. I mean, I got to be honest, Bunker. You're literally bringing nothing to the friggin' table. I got to be honest. Is that a Red Sox hoodie you're wearing? No, it's not. Reverse mush incoming. I like it. Not at all. Nope. Vinny, this guy is fired up today, like when Steven Seagal's niece got shot and marked for death. It wasn't his niece. It wasn't his niece. It marked for death? Nah. No. Not at all. Not at all. I don't think it was his niece. I don't recall that. Right? Wasn't that with Screwface? Remember that? Screwface? No, the niece didn't. No, because the dude got jumped out of the window. What are you talking about? Come on. That's a bad job by you. You're extra frosty today. I am frosty today. I am. Imagine trying to rest and your phone is just nonstop with heckles and trolls. And now I'm getting it on the air. Right? After your spite pick the other night, I'm definitely taking the Panthers money line tonight. Respect you. You going hockey. Hey, this second time you threw Costco under the bus while not being here to defend him. So he doesn't have to. I spoke to Costco the other day. I told him about the change of scheduling. He appreciated it. My guy Costco got a good gig I lined up for him, so I'm happy with that. I take care of my guys, unlike, I would say, some of the guys that I know. And I'm just going to friggin' leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that. Kevin C. chimes in, Q. The bats went cold again. You can blame Boom all you want, but these guys get paid to hit. Whatever. I mean, I really, at this point, what do you want me to say? It just, after a while, it just gets annoying. And it's just an old conversation because you can pinpoint all the issues, but ultimately nothing changes. Nothing changes. So if nothing changes and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you're expecting a different result, Kevin, that's the definition of insanity, right? Mel chimes in, Q, you know I'm a diehard Dodgers fan. I'm a little worried tonight. Did you look at Glasnow's numbers? Yes. 2.77 ERA, 1.72 OBA at home with a 3-2 record. Now, the Phillies going with Sanchez, he's been hittable. But again, to me, it's all about run support. That's it. It's all about run support. Like the Phillies know this is it. The offense has to jump on Glasnow early. They have to. And maybe you're feeling a lot better with some of these guys that finally are hitting a little bit because you were not getting that early in the series. And that's always been the issue with the Philadelphia Phillies. Every October for the past 4, 5, 6, 7 years, the offense has gone away. It's just disappeared. You didn't have to worry about that last night. They broke it open. They got 5 in the 8th. They broke open a close game. They won 8-2. They collected 12 hits. Guys actually showed up. Schwarber was what? 3 of 4, 3 of 5. Real Muto got into the mix as well with the home run. Schwarber with the home run. Harper got on base, right? Castellanos, who was complaining about the home crowd. You guys were killing me on that in my last video. He did nothing. I mean, he's having a horrible series. He's batting, like 0.80, 081, whatever, under 100. But guys got on base. You hate the fact that they leave runners in scoring position on base, and they did last night, 8, and runners in scoring position, 2 of 8. You want to be able to push across these guys, move them around. Now, I think that ball is going to fly tonight. I really do. But I like what Thompson did. Nola gets in there. Suarez gets in there. Then you use up three more pitchers, and then you have who was it to close it out? Tanner Banks. So the series it's far from over. I mean, the Dodgers do not want to have to go back to Philadelphia for a game 5. They just don't. They don't, which would be Saturday. They want to end the series tonight, period. I'll give you the starting lineup too in a moment. But the Phillies, you get a game, you got momentum, right? I'm telling you right now, they don't want to go back to Philadelphia. Phillies have a decent home record, 55-26 home record. And that crowd's going to be into it. The Dodgers want to close out this series tonight, period. Period. And as I mentioned, Rob Thompson stayed in the moment last night, and Schwarber's home run woke everyone up. It woke everyone up. That was a big win. The Phillies showed a little character last night. They did. They really did. You drop the first two at home, you go on the road, you put up 8 runs, and finally wake up. You get some massive homers from Schwarber bomb. There you go. And they're going to try. I think they're going to be aggressive at the plate against Glass now, and I think the Dodgers have to show a little patience. They got to make Sanchez work. And if they can score early, you try to knock him out of there. Because this kid, when he can get in a groove, he settles down. He's a damn good pitcher. He's a damn good pitcher. Phillies, they are live tonight, man. They're absolutely live tonight in this game, period. Not even debatable. They are live tonight. Let's see what Heisman says. It was a Cleveland Sports Talk here. After Stefanski's press conference, I would like to hear Q sit here and continue to tell me there isn't a conspiracy against Sanders and that the QB star Browns aren't actually starving. There's no conspiracy. Whether he wants to start the kid or not, at this point, I don't care. And the kid's going to get his reps. Now, let me say this. You keep trotting out Gabriel, and he struggles, and then you eventually don't go to the kid, then that's an issue. That's an issue. All right, 5 o'clock straight up, quick timeout. We'll reset the table. We'll get into more of the NFL talk on the other side. Keep it locked in. A lot of comments coming in. We'll take you up to 6 on the Throw It Out Thursday edition of On Cue. Keep it locked in. Rich Quinones here. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. 5 o'clock straight up on the East Coast. You know, this whole conspiracy stuff with the Browns. I mean, I don't know. I feel as though I have to keep addressing Vince in this regard, right? Like at this point, you want to hear a certain thing that I'm not willing to give you because I don't believe it. But if it makes you feel better and you can sleep well at night, you want me to sit there and say there's a conspiracy? I'll say it. Do I believe it? No, I don't. Stefanski didn't want Sanders. It's pretty clear and evident. Like we're talking about a kid that was drafted in the 4th round. If his last name's not Sanders, nobody cares. No one cares. At this point, Stefanski's going to get fired. They're going to clean house and they're going to start from scratch. And maybe they trade Sanders. It's a bad fit for him. But again, if he goes anywhere else and if he's not starting, you're going to have the same conversation and the same argument with me. I mean, it's just after a while, it's almost ad nauseum. Like, yeah, okay, if he's in Indianapolis, you're going to scream, why is he not starting over Daniel Jones? If he's in Carolina, why is he not starting over Bryce Young? It doesn't matter with you guys. You're so pro Sanders, you can't see the forest between the past trees. The head coach makes the decision. Period. He didn't want this kid. He didn't want this kid. He did not want to draft this kid. It made no sense that you draft a quarterback in the 3rd and then the 4th round, respectively. None whatsoever. It made no sense. But that's Cleveland. That's Cleveland. So again, until we see the kid out on the field, you can't really talk too much about it anymore because there's really nothing more to talk about. There's really nothing more to talk about when it comes to Cleveland and Sanders. I mean, that's where we're at. It's not about conspiracy. It's not about collusion. It's just the coach doesn't like the kid, doesn't want him to play. Look, now you got the dog coming in the picture. See that? She wants some of this. Look, she's all ready to go. She's fired up. She knows it's Thursday night football. This is what we do. We take care of her. We get her the good stuff. I don't know what you want me to say. What is this? Yeah, it was. You're embarrassing yourself. I just watched a movie. What movie? What movie are we talking about? Did I miss something? What movie are we talking about? I don't know. I can't. I don't even know where we're going with this. Oh, his niece got shot. I'm not embarrassing myself. Get the hot. You know who's embarrassing himself? You guys, because some of your piss poor takes. How about that? How about that on a friggin' thought out Thursday? How about you whoa on that one? Chew on that. Phillies have been streaked this year. Hopefully, it's the start of a winning streak. I am so going to spite pick right now. This is exactly where this is where I'm going at. This is where I'm heading right now. I'm telling you right now, this is where we're going. I don't believe they killed Denise and Mark to death. I really don't. Who was played, by the way, by the original Scream Queen, Danielle Harris. Let's check. Let's go. Marked for death. Let's go Wikipedia. Let's check. Because I don't believe niece killed. Let me see. And that's good to see that you are working during the day. And, you're not, you're doing something quality with your time. I got to watch this dog now. I got to watch this dog eat for a second. This is where I'm at. All right. 5:05. Got to take another quick time out. We have to reset the table because you guys are all over the place today. We're getting into baseball. We're getting into football. We're not going to deviate from that. Keep it locked in. I got a lot of comments coming in, a lot of friggin' trolls coming in. People want to know why I'm cranky and pissed off today. I'm going to let you know why. Quick time out. We'll come back. All right. Now I can get through these comments in peace. Let me see. He goes to the woman's house. Little kid opens the door. Mom runs to the door and says, "Hey, big brother, what does that make the little kid?" I don't want jokes today. I don't want any jokes today. Tom at Summers Point chimes in Q. I thought Rob Thompson played his cards perfectly last night. I had no problem when I'm shorting up the game like that. But to your point, Schwarber probably going off was the best thing for this offense. Phillies in 5, perhaps. I mean, this is what I got to deal with right now. I got to deal with the trolls. Do you hear her? She's just what she's doing. She's just poking, peeking right out the window, right out the window. That's all she's doing right now, getting all fired up. Just gave her a good meal too. Joe D in South Philly chimes in. Q boo hoo hoo. I love how you bitch, complain, and whine and cry with your Yankees. One of the highest payrolls ever in the history of sports, and they haven't done squadoosh. Phillies in 5. Yeah, I mean, they haven't won a World Series since 2009. They should have won it last year. But again, it's baseball. It's baseball. I mean, it's always about momentum. The next game's pitcher. That's what we say in baseball. And ultimately, when the bats go south, the bats go south. But I'm allowed to blame the manager. Seriously. And if Aaron Boone's not calling the shots and he's not calling these moves, then what does that tell you? Like, what's the point of even having them there? It's almost as though when Aaron Rodgers was with the Jets and Robert Saleh was there and Nathaniel Hackett, like Aaron Rodgers is calling the shots, then you got to get rid of the head coach. Well, why are the Yankees so reluctant to get rid of Aaron Boone? At this point, you just don't care that they're winning, 85, 90, 95 games a year. It does not matter. It's about World Series. It's about getting the World Series. It's about winning World Series. And under Aaron Boone, they haven't been able to do that. People go, there's an adage that you don't blame the managers and the head coaches with sports, right? Coaches, managers coach and they manage and players play. I don't necessarily believe in that. I don't. I think managers and head coaches deserve criticism as much as players do. If we're sitting here again, getting on offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, we're allowed to get on the head coach. If a manager pulls a pitcher that's mowing him down or pulls him too early, we're allowed to get on the manager because it's after the fact, right? It's always after the fact. Ann chimes in, Q, I'm dying over here. You are full of piss and vinegar tonight. Oh, by the way, it's been about 10 years since the Giants last won a Thursday night football game. Oh, my God. That is a horrible, horrible stat. They're going to get smoked tonight. 35-6. They're going to get smoked tonight. They really are. They're going to get smoked tonight. Wow, I saw that Mike Greenwell passed away. Wow. You remember back in the day, the 1987 Tops? They had that great, it was almost like a panel, wooden border. Wasn't he a Tops all-star rookie, right? He was a very good player. Really good player. Remember that the Tops, or maybe it was 86 future star, but 87, I thought he was a rookie. 87, he was a rookie. Wow, he passed away. He was young, Mike Greenwell. Wow. He had a really nice career. He spent his entire career with the Boston Red Sox. Good player. Really good player. That's unfortunate. Young. I've no idea what the cause of death was. Wow. EG chimes in. Q, did you see 33% of tickets purchased tonight? Eagles and Giants came from Philly. Ha ha ha. It's going to be a hard night for you. Yeah, I mean, that's always the case. I mean, listen, you guys act as if I'm surprised by this. Like, I already know what I'm going into. Right? So it's going to get ugly tonight. Let's see that. What's that? It is. Oh, I forgot too. He was in the Red Sox Hall of Fame. That's a sin. Cancer. 62. That is a sin. Wow. Oh, and he was diagnosed in August. Oh man. Too young at all. Way too young. Way too young. Mighty Ice chimes in Q. I'm not going to say 38-6, but I'll tell you this: if the Giants can't get to Jalen Hurts, it might be lights out before halftime. That's kind of the sentiment. I like to see offensively tonight if the Eagles actually get the ground game going. Like the Giants probably know we're going to stack the box a little bit, and knowing that the Eagles offense hasn't really kind of caught that second gear just yet, they're probably going to try to dare Jalen Hurts to throw, which it bodes well for the Philadelphia Eagles because the Giants secondary has major issues. I mean, they know exactly who to pick on. They know exactly who to pick on. And I think this is the night where, you see AJ Brown get his touches, right? Get his reps, get his touches, get his stats. This is a horrible, horrible, horrible spot for the Giants. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I still have about 10 87 Topps Greenwell rookie cards. You said it, Q. Stefanski doesn't like him. Neither did 29 other teams, regardless of his talent level, work ethic, or IQ. It was all about his name. That is a conspiracy. No, it's not. It is not. You want him to start because of his name. So what is that? A reverse conspiracy theory? What makes you think this kid can be a franchise quarterback? Nobody knows until he steps on the field. I don't care what his last name is. I got to see it first. So nothing's ever going to come out. See, you guys are playing this very dicey game. We see it in the NFL. When a coach doesn't like a player, they don't like a player. Now you would think, who gives team A the best shot at winning? Is it, in this case, Sanders or Gabriel? Gabriel showed he can play a little bit. We question his arm strength, can't make all the throws. Now everyone's waiting to see if it's going to be Sanders. They traded Joe Flacco. Sanders moves up the depth chart. Forget about Deshaun Watson. Shouldn't even step on the field anymore. Time will tell. We can talk about it till we're blue in this face. I'm not going to do it every day. This isn't Cleveland sports talk. I'm not going to do it. So when Gabriel struggles, you will have an opportunity, hopefully, to see Sanders. And then you give it a couple games to see if this kid can play. But until he steps out on the field, it's a moot point. It's all speculation. It's all hearsay. We can talk about it until the cows come home. It's like what's going on in UNC with Belichick and now these recruiting violations. And the fact that he's looking for an out. Everything is speculatory. Everything is all speculation until it actually happens. Is UNC going to pull the plug on the hoodie? Are they going to back the hoodie? The hoodie's not even returning calls from his coaching staff. Like, it was a bad move. It was a mistake. So, like, for instance, you guys want Cleveland to play a kid because of his last name. North Carolina hired somebody because of their last name, and thus far it hasn't worked out for either. Like, if I'm Bill Belichick at this point, I'm done. Like, it was a bad mistake. It was the wrong move. It was not smart to go to college because you're older. You're accustomed to the NFL. You don't know how to recruit. You're not going to kids' dining rooms. You're not going to speak to parents. You don't have the friggin' patience. You don't know how to cultivate relationships or contacts. That's not who you are. And you have no idea what the hell's going on with transfer portal and NIL. So you're already behind the eight ball. But the fact that you're isolating yourself from your coaching staff, you have your 23, 24-year-old girlfriend roam the sidelines, it's a horrible look. You don't need the money. You don't need the money. You're wealthy. You're good for 10 other lifetimes. At this point, now what's happening is, now I'm not gonna reverse pivot on the NFL idea because I still believe in my heart of hearts a team will be dumb enough to grab this guy, whether it's next year, 2 years, 3 years. And they're 2-3, Carolina is. But their record is worse if you really watch them play. They haven't even been competitive. They've been getting blown out in these games. So now that he's discussing a buyout, it tells me his heart was never in college, but it's the ego. He wanted to get to college to prove to everyone he still has it. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And that's why you get all these rumors now, and it's a bye week, and here we go. I mean, the product on the field has been horrible. There's also a lawsuit filed in North Carolina that basically alleges that the university board hired Belichick illegally. I remember when Nick and I were going back and forth, I asked him, does it bother you that this contract's not signed? And he's like, it's going to get signed. To me, that was a red flag. And I don't want to hear this perception around Belichick and the program is it's going to change if they start to win. I don't believe that. I don't. It's a bad fit, period. It's a bad fit. And that's the problem I have. What they did is they got in bed with the devil. They got in bed with the devil. This is a horrible, horrible, horrible look. And it's backfiring big time. It really is. It's backfiring because he's looking like a clown. And UNC looks worse. They look like they got played. They really do. They look like they got played. They really do. You get sold this pipe dream, right? This bill of goods that it's going to work out if we hire this guy. This is why when we talk about coaches in the NFL and you hear some of the old names, the Cowers, the Grudens, they start to resurface. I kind of tell people, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes, man. Like, you want to get the guy that you think is going to be the guy from 10 years ago. But right now, UNC looks worse. They look like they got played. They really do. They really do. They look absolutely clueless, and they should have known better. They should have known better. It was not going to work out. I said he's not going to last a season. And it's bad right now. And it's bad. I'm not going to go and say it's killing his legacy off of 5 games in college, but the optics are bad. The optics are bad. Sarge chimes in. Q, I know you're not sitting there saying that coaches hate players. They don't want to play them. But the bottom line is, do you really believe some of these younger quarterbacks don't give their team a chance to win? Sarge, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. Basically, what I'm saying, when you have a young quarterback or a quarterback in the NFL, they got to be in the right spot. Now, I will say this, and I think this is accurate and fair to say, Cleveland should have never drafted Gabriel and Sanders. And, they're not a good franchise. It's not a good franchise. It's poorly run. It's the roster building. It's just poorly constructed. They thought they were going to be competitive with an aging Joe Flacco that can't play anymore, which again strengthens all your arguments. Play the kids, play the kids. I'm agreeing to that. But again, you want me to say something that we don't know is or is not true. You really think if you pushed them in the corner, backed them in the corner, have a reporter say, why are you not starting Sanders? Whatever Stefanski says, it's not going to sit with you guys. It's just not going to. There's no answer he can give you that you will sit there and say, that makes sense. I understand. Because you're so pro Shedeur Sanders drinking the freaking Kool-Aid, and that's okay. You're entitled to that you can't see past the reality. Maybe there's something in practice where this kid's not performing. Maybe there's something there where this kid handles himself and carries himself a certain way that rubs the organization the wrong way. And for that, they don't want to play the kid. That's their business. It's not collusion. It's not blackballing. It's not discrimination. It's a head coach saying, I'm not starting this kid. Here are my reasons, and I believe we're going to go with this guy, and he's going to give us a better chance to win. Until that changes, everyone's got to pump the brakes. Everyone's got to pump the brakes. Everyone. I said 2 weeks ago, trade Flacco. Start these guys. They finally traded him. I also said 3 weeks ago, start Dart. Trade Russell Wilson. Now they're finally starting Dart. It's easier said than done, man. We can all sit there and say, start. Ultimately, it's the coach's decision. Now, some coaches, they get pressure from above. We know that. They get pressure from above. In these situations, we're talking about, again, like the Giants, man. You got Jackson Dart tonight against a Dallas team that's, an Eagles team that's pissed off. They were up 17-3 in the fourth quarter. They didn't run the football. They didn't make stops. They lost the game at home. They're aggravated. Now you got this poor quarterback. You're sacrificing him to the Wolves tonight with no offensive weapons because, let's be honest, he's got no offensive weapons, man. He's got Larry Moe and Curly thrown out there. Manny Moe and Jack, wide receivers. It might get ugly. It might get ugly. I don't want to hear someone tomorrow sit there and say, I can't believe they started Jackson Dart with no what. Hey, you live with it. You roll with it. And Brian Dable actually did the smart thing. He's our quarterback going forward. Come hell or high water. You're not going to get that with other teams. Brian Dable knows his job's in jeopardy. He knows his job's in jeopardy. He will live and die with Jackson Dart. I don't believe Stefanski feels the same way. I actually believe Stefanski feels his job is safe, secure. And that's why he's kind of wavering back and forth. And if he really believes that one quarterback gives him a chance to win over the next, he believes in those convictions, he is going to start the kid. Whether it blows up in his face, it blows up in his face. You guys can't tell me if Gabriel goes out there and lights the world on fire and they win a couple games, then what? You guys are going to sit there and say, still start Shedeur Sanders? It doesn't work like that. If Browning was lighting the world on fire, we're going to bench Burrow. Now, I made the argument for Mac Jones because of how well San Francisco is playing in place of Brock Purdy, who was struggling prior to. You already know Joe Burrow, right? You already know this guy's a franchise all-world quarterback. It's been a little up and down for Purdy. That's why I was saying ride the right hot hand. That's all. That's all I was saying. That's really where I was staying with this. Greg chimes in, QB keys to the game tonight. I think the Giants can keep it close heading into the fourth. They got to force some turnovers. Certainly have to force some turnovers. Have to flip the script, have to flip the field. They cannot settle for field goals. The Giants have to be able to punch it in. You're probably going to see a lot of scatterboot tonight, out of the backfield, wheel routes, in the flat, max protect. Theo Johnson starting to, emerge as a really nice, solid option for the Giants. Had 2 touchdown receptions last week. Not a bad play if you took them. So Jackson Dart and him are getting on the same page. I think you can throw a little bit against the Eagles. Here's the thing with the Eagles. We talk about their defense and what they had last year. Like the sum of the parts, if you look at their pass rush last year and you look at the players that they have on defense now and compare it to last year, the 2 players that they lost, there's been a little bit of a drop off and a void. Like collectively as a unit, they need to get to the quarterback more, right? They need to get to the quarterback more. They have to get to the quarterback. The Philadelphia Eagles have 7 sacks this year. That's it. 7. They got to get more production from their edge rushers. I think Jackson Dart's legs can also be the difference in this game. If that pocket's collapsing, he can take off and run a little bit, extend drives, keep possession. And Jalen Hurts can do the same thing. And I'm wondering, is this tonight too? We had all this backlash. Saquon, AJ, Jalen Hurts, they had a 3-hour meeting. What the hell they were talking about? I don't know. I don't care. Kevin Patullo, his offense has not been crisp. It was Nick Sirianni's hire. It was Nick Sirianni's guy. Is this tonight that Jalen Hurts, they get AJ Brown into the game early? He's getting his targets early. He's getting his reps early. And I don't know. I really don't know. Saquon's banged up. Saquon's going to play because it's against the Giants. Let's be honest. You got that doc coming out and all this other stuff. Still talking about the Giants and several years ago. We're over it. We're over it. Mike chimes in, Q, do we really expect Flacco to save the day in Cincinnati? No. But I think they did you guys a favor because they got, you get rid of Jake Browning for all intents and purposes. I mean, come on. I mean, you have to. Listen, he's 40. He's not saving anyone's season. He's not saving anyone's day. But I'll say this, Might be a little more fun with him throwing the ball up to these guys, right? And I think again, now bear with me, Mike and Vince and Scott. I think there's a reason that Flacco was still given his shot, right? In Cleveland. Not the results you wanted, but Cincinnati's offensive line is far from ideal. Cleveland's offensive line, Cincinnati's pressure rate right around 42%, which means you got to process that. You got to get the ball out under 3 seconds. And the Browns were at 41%, 2.5 seconds. So, right? Flacco can still throw the ball. That's never been a question. But he's not saving Cincinnati. And maybe they thought he was going to be that savior, at least for half the season in Cleveland. It just hasn't worked out. So to answer your question, no, he's not saving anyone. He's not saving anyone. T, in Clearwater chimes in. Q, did you hear Tua's comments? I think I'm ready to move on from him. Interesting comment and interesting comments by Tua that apparently are rubbing people the wrong way. And I don't know if you guys saw this. So, look, we know that it hasn't been the ideal start to the season for the Miami Dolphins. We know that Tua is inconsistent. He struggles. He's dealing with that thumb, hip injuries. He's just banged up, right? Obviously, you lose Hill. You got McDaniel, ownership group. They're getting pissed off at the head coach, offensive coordinator. You got a lot of issues going on with the Miami Dolphins. A lot. And Tua basically was like, hey, man, I don't really care the outcome of the game. I get to go home and see my kids. Now, I'm paraphrasing that, but that has not sat well with people, right? That's Tua shutting down fan criticism. Quote, I go home, I see my kids. You're making a lot of money, man. It hasn't panned out. You're injury prone, you're concussion prone, and everyone can love the fact that you're a father first and foremost, right? But, that only aggravates a fan base more because they're fanatical for a reason. Do I have a problem with it? No, not really. But I know when you're losing and you're not playing well and expectations are high and you signed a massive deal and it hasn't worked out, when you sit there and say, hey, I go home, I see my kids, whether I throw 5 picks or 5 touchdowns, we win the game, we lose the game, I get to go home to my kids. That's not going to sit well with a fan base because fans don't compartmentalize like that. They hear that comment and they say, this guy doesn't give a shit about football. This guy doesn't give a shit about winning. This guy doesn't give a shit about the fans. That's really what it's about. And translation, if we're really being honest, is, man, I got paid, man. I got the bag. I don't give a shit what happens. That does not sit well with a fan base. Can you imagine that being said in New York or Philadelphia? He would get crushed. He would get absolutely crushed. So to T's point, probably not the smartest thing, but I think at this point, Miami is a sinking ship. And it's not going to get any better. It really isn't. Carly chimes in. Q, always loving the show and the Giant Talk. The last time they went on Thursday Night Football? Oh. I mean, was it a game against Washington? Or maybe Miami? I mean, Eli was the quarterback. And I think Beckham was on the team. 10 years ago, they had to be, right? That's the Giants stink in prime time. It's just Giant fans hate primetime games and 425 games. Giant fans want 1 o'clock games. They want 1 o'clock games, period. Primetime games, no. No, not at all. Let me get more to your comments on here. Dun, 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 dun. Heisman says Stefanski's never going to play him, ever. He's telling us that. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. If this coach believes that his job's really not on the hot seat, he's going to continue to play Gabriel. There are other coaches in the NFL where 5 weeks in, they're already on the hot seat. Listen, people are starting to question Aaron Glenn. They're starting to question Aaron Glenn. And he's not the only one. I mean, Jonathan Gannon. By the way, did you guys see that? Jonathan Gannon got fined for ripping into the running back. I mean, are we that soft that Jonathan Gannon got fined for ripping his running back who made a bonehead mistake? I'm actually going to side with the head coach. I'm going to side with the head coach. The Parcells of the world, the Jimmy Johnsons of the world, the Buddy Ryans of the world, the Mike Ditkas of the world. They would read these guys to riot act, get right in their face. I don't know. I think that's a bad look by the NFL. Why are you going to find the coach? Because he's heated? Because he got in the player's face? Are you kidding me? Are we that soft? Because the running back made a bonehead, asinine choice and decision. The kid, DeMarcado, basically lost the game, dropped the football before crossing the goal line, and then everything basically just it was a avalanche for the Cardinals, who have struggled this season. So the head coach goes over there and he's reading the riot act and he's going to get fined? Come on. It's a costly turnover. They lost 22-21. That was a horrible loss. He scores. They're up 28-6 with about 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I got news for you. Carolina's not coming back. I'm sorry, Tennessee's not coming back. You can't fine the head coach for that. Come on. You can't. Remember when OC sacked McNabb 6 times or something? Wasn't that a game? Wasn't that a primetime game? They sacked McNabb 13 times in that game. OC had 7, I believe. And that was a primetime game. That was also back in friggin' 2007. Yep. Remember who the tackle was for the Philadelphia Eagles? Remember the tackle in that game who got absolutely lambosted? OC had 6, and they finished with 12. They finished with 12. Winston Justice. Remember Winston Justice? Human turnstile. It's not even about positives. It's not about positive or lack thereof positive thoughts, man. It is about being realistic. Like, the Giants are void of weapons. You're going to see Scatterboo get his 20, 25 touches and Jackson Dart running for his life. Who the hell's stepping up receiver-wise? Slayton's not playing tonight. He's hurt. Neighbors obviously has a torn ACL, MCL. He's out for the season. So who's stepping up tonight for the Giants? Who's stepping up? Wan'Dale Robinson, nice possession receiver. Jalen Hyatt, who's been a flat-out bust. Freaking kid couldn't catch a cold. Always good for his speed. You want me to keep going? They're going to incorporate Johnson, Bellinger. They're going to have Manhurts in there, chip and block, and they're going to run the freaking football and try to keep the Eagles offense off the field. And it's going to be a lot of Jackson Dart scrambling. Scatterboo's going to get his 20, 25 touches. Unless the Eagles hand the game over to Giants, unless the Eagles have a bunch of bad turnovers and the Giants get a pick 6 here and there or a block field goal or punt, specials team, something, they're not winning the game. It's not even about being negative. So Giant fans, stop crying to me. I'm being realistic. Have you not watched this team? Have you not watched this team over the last 10 years against the friggin' Philadelphia Eagles? They can't beat them. They can't beat them, period. I don't care if he got fined for putting his hands on him. How many coaches have done that 30, 40 years ago? Come on, stop. That's stupid. He's the head coach, so it's different. When Cowher would put his hands on somebody's shoulder, or when Lombardi would pull someone, or when Parcells or Dicka would get right up, start yapping in there, you don't fine the head coach. The running back deserves to get punished. If anyone should be fined, it's the running back for crossing the goal line and dropping the ball before it's crossing the goal line. Should be the running back de facto. Stop being so friggin' soft. Running back basically, again, cost them the game. Cost them the game. Not the head coach. Not the head coach. The running back. Kevin chimes in, my God, Q, you got to calm down today. We get it. Rangers suck. Knicks are going to be bad. Ha, ha, ha. Giants are already off on the Yankees lost. Yeah, Knicks are going to be good this year. Knicks coming out of the Eastern Conference. So we got that going for us. Kevin, it's October and the Giants season is done. It's October and the Yankees are out of the playoffs. I have a right to be a little aggravated today. I do. I can't. I can't woosah today. I can't. I'm just reporting the facts, Q. I would have cut DeMarcado on the spot. Well, listen, players get cut. It was a boneheaded play. Hopefully, the kid learns from it. By that rationale, would you have cut the DB last year for Chicago that wasn't paying attention on the Hail Mary? He's still there. What happens is these players got to live with that moment, like Mark Sanchez, who's got his own issues, but the butt fumble. And that's Sanchez's story. That's I mean, that's a show for another day, which is just absolutely bizarre, right? Bizarre. Like, you can't turn the ball over like that. You have to understand, hold the ball with both hands, cross the goal line. You think that kid's ever going to do that again in an NFL game? Come on. Come on. Never. He's never going to do that again. And again, that's the problem. These players got to learn, like finish off the play. There are so many funny things that happen in an NFL game. Like on 3rd and 3, when the running back gets 2 yards, you see the players put up their fist, fourth down. You know the team's going for it. They're not getting off the field. They drop it on 3rd and they look for the flag, or they make a tackle and they want to dance for 45 friggin' minutes. Just play. Just play. Like, show up and play. Honestly, when you're a bad team, you can't be dicking around like that. Seriously. B chimes in. Q, did you see that Cincinnati once again proved how dumb they are? They didn't even call the Giants a trade for your guy Winston. I said it. It made no sense. You should have called the Giants for either Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston would throw the ball down the field. Seriously, can you imagine Chase Higgins, all those weapons? Yeah, he's probably going to throw 25, 30 picks, but he might throw for, 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. Look, their defense has issues, their offensive line has issues, but bringing in Flacco makes no sense. It makes no sense. And I don't want to hear this, Menace chimes in. Q, you're talking about a quarterback that was collecting dust as QB3. You're bringing in a guy that's had some reps. I don't want to hear that anymore. Flacco can't move. Come on. Come on. You're going to take a 41-year-old Flacco over Jameis Winston? I mean, part of me wanted Jameis Winston to start for the Giants over Russell Wilson. Should he coach to hold the ball until you see leathers and logos? It's not. You're an NFL running back. You don't know how to hold on to it's different if he's constantly fumbling. Like they teach you, right? You're running off tackle, your ball's in the right hand, the football's in the right hand, the sidelines to the left. What do? You switch hands. In case the ball's smacked out, it's going out of bounds. That's Pee-wee. You learned that in friggin' Pop Warner Pee-wee in high school. Tiki Barber was fumbling because he didn't hold the football properly. Then he started holding on with two hands, and then Coughlin explained to him, showed him tight, high and tight, high and tight. They can't knock it off your out of your mitts. And he stopped fumbling. He saved Tiki Barber's career. This is just, I don't want to say stupidity, but it's just stupidity by the running back. Cross the frigging goal line, then celebrate. You can't teach dumb or carelessness or being foolish. And I'm not trying to pick on the kid, but that's on the running back. That's not about coaching. I don't need to tell you, wrap the guy up, tackle him until the whistle. I don't need to tell you, live ball, jump on it. Don't try to fall on it, pick it up and run. Just jump on it, fall on it. I don't need to tell you if you're running back or you're wide receiver, you don't celebrate until you cross the goal line. That's common sense. And it lost him the game. It lost them the game. Oh, by the way, this kid is a third-year pro. So it's not coaching. You're not sitting there on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday walkthrough. Hey, by the way, guys, when you see the end zone, do me a favor. Hold on to the football. I mean, it's common sense. Wrap it up. You know these guys are going to try to swat it out of your hand, attack you, but to just inexplicably lose it like that, come on. It's just bonehead. It really is. Let me give you the lineups tonight. My goodness. So Kyler Murray did not practice. Let's get the Phillies lineup tonight. Here are the Dodgers. Ohtani, Betts, Hernandez, Freeman, Edmund, Smith, Call, Hernandez, Pages. Okay. I think Ohtani's poised for a big night. Phillies lineup is out. What do we got? Turner, Schwarber. This is not official. I would assume Turner, Schwarber, Harper, Bohm, Marsh, Romuto, Kepler, Castellanos, and Stott. See if I can get confirmation on that. And you still got the Brewers and the Cubs tonight. That Phillies game is 6:06. So that Giant and Eagles game, that's Amazon Prime, but locally it should be on ABC 6. That's 8:15. So you're probably going to be right around the 6th or 7th inning of the Phillies game. You know, de facto, if I know him, he's probably going to be all locked in. He's probably going to be all flyered up. Probably not even going to focus on the Eagles. Probably not even going to focus on the Phillies, right? What time they dropped the puck? So the Phillies started 6, the Flyboys started 7, and then the Eagles started 8:15. Man, it could be a really good night for Philly sports, or as they say, the flip side, it could be a very bad night for Philly sports. I like the Eagles tonight. I think the Eagles win handily. I'm looking at a 31-6, 31-10 type of game. As far as the baseball, listen, they just need, I think both these teams respectively, you got to score early. If you're the Dodgers, man, you got to get that, you got to get that crowd engaged early and often. And Ohtani's got to have his moments too, right? Eventually. Sean chimes in, Q, any props for tonight's game? Scatterboo anytime touchdown. And I believe the Eagles 7.5 with the number. The total is so low though. It's 40.5. You guys got to feel for me. Look at my eyes already. Counting sheep by 8 o'clock. This ridiculous. Got to get back up in 1. Come on for almost 2 hours today. Constantly being trolled all day long. Brutal. B chimes in. Q, do you see that they are creating and directing and producing Heat 2? Ooh, what a great movie. I watched 10 minutes of the new Naked Gun, and it was horrible. It was horrible. So it does look like they're going to have a Heat 2. Heat was fantastic. Ooh, they're rumored to put Leonardo DiCaprio to play Val Kilmer's character, because Val Kilmer was the only one that made it out alive in Heat 1, or in the original Heat. You know, Danny Trejo, you know, Robert De Niro, Michael Madsen. Was it Michael Madsen? No, Tom Sizemore. Didn't make it out. That was a great movie. The shootout scene to me is one of the all-time great shootout scenes when they're robbing a bank and they come out. It was a great movie. It really was. So Kilmer was 35 when it was released. DiCaprio is going to turn 51 next week. So apparently Heat 2 takes place 5 years after the events of the first movie. So obviously the characters are going to look older, right? When you're talking about screen time. Departed was on the other night too. DiCaprio is a fantastic app, just unbelievable. Why don't you turn off your phone, drink half a layup, and wake up thought out for what the frig Friday? Well, here's the thing. Of course, when you do stuff overseas and there's a time difference, phone has to be on just in case there's updates, lineups change, rosters change, the prep time. That's number one. I'm not drinking layup. We tried to sip, and I was already counting sheep. And I got to get a couple hours sleep. Do I not? I mean, I have to. And what the freak Friday? It could be bad tomorrow. I'm telling you guys right now. The Giants get blasted. The Phillies win. It could be ugly tomorrow. It could be ugly. But here's the thing. I'm going to be right back here tomorrow because that's what I do. We talked about this. There are those that run towards the fire and those that run away. I run towards the fire. I take the lumps. I take the hits. That's what I do. Even if it's 3-4 hours sleep. I don't know what you want me to say. I actually should be commended. Seriously. There should be a day after me. Perhaps a holiday. That's just me. Robin chimes in. Q, what'd you think of LeBron's decision number 2? Ha ha ha. I mean, I can't wait to get in a little. I know I'm not allowed to talk NBA. What did you guys say? We're not allowed to talk NBA until when? I think you guys set that deadline. We're not allowed to talk NBA until when? All right, you figure it out. Last time out, want to remind you, we're brought to you by our good friends over at Get Ready with Tea. Jersey Shore Breaks Fresh Roasted Coffee, 20% off your first cup and your first purchase, BYP20. We'll drop a new episode tomorrow with Lloyd Vance. Also, Get Ready with Tea, as I mentioned, Three Brooks Bourbon. When did we say we are allowed to talk NBA? I know you guys gave me May. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's just, that's not happening. All right, last time out, we'll come back and we'll wrap things up on a Thursday. All right, as we wrap it up, Rich in Carolina chiming you. Excellent thoughts on Belichick. I don't think he's going to last the rest of the season, but there's something shady going on over there. There's definitely a bizarre aspect of what's going on with Bill Belichick in Carolina. Obviously, I just think ultimately it was a bad mistake. It was a bad hire. And North Carolina understands that. They know that. They should have cut ties when they had the opportunity to cut ties, and they didn't do it. And now you're kind of stuck with Belichick unless he's going to get that buy. I mean, I'm reading reports about his coaching staff. Belichick's not even in contact with his coaching staff, and some of his coaching staff are basically looking to kind of bolt, right? And some of these guys, man, I mean, it's the culture. It's just not there, and that's the problem. High school, college, pros, you have to have a culture. Work, company, you're working a job. You got to have a culture. If you got a divided locker room, and you've got parents now coming out blaming Belichick because their 18, 19, 20-year-old kid is miserable, not going to class, dicking around, upset that they're losing football games, can't talk to the coach. You got an old school guy who's trying to relate to 18-year-olds. It was a bad fit from the start. He did it because it's the ego to prove he can still coach and get back to the NFL. He didn't need to do this. He did not need to do this. I mean, show of hands. We called this. We called this. We all said this was going to be a disaster. But my whole take was I believe he can still coach in the pros. Very hard to relate to young kids, man. And you're icing out your coaching staff. And who knows, they might turn around and be a bunch of rats like in the Titanic and start calling them out and leaking information about rules violations and all this other nonsense. You never know. And the other, here's the other thing, right? So because Belichick has discussed a buyout, he would owe 1 million if he left. Carolina's on the hook for 20 million if they fire him. And he's open to getting back into TV or going to another university. I maintain he wants to coach the pros again, but you're talking a $20 million hook. That is a big nut. And now what you'll see is that if these recruiting violations are legit, and if his coaching staff is looking around, then the ship be sinking. The rats are getting ready to leave, man. It's been a debacle from the get-go. And to me, the red flags were raised when he was just dicking around, not signing the contract. He refused to put pen to paper. That was UNC's out. I said it during a show. It's up there from months ago. That was their out. All right. Advantage tonight, Phillies. But I think the Dodgers are going to be able to get to Sanchez early, and maybe Ohtani sets the tone. As far as the football game, I'm not going to be shocked if I come on the air tomorrow and the Phillies win this game. Harper's got to have his moment eventually this postseason, right? He's got to. As far as the football game, it's just a really bad spot for the Giants. You got an Eagles team, blew that 17-3 fourth quarter lead, period. I just, and this, look, you move past Saquon and Daniel Jones, and just because they're having success on other teams, it doesn't mean they were going to have that type of success with the Giants, with these weapons and this coaching staff. You know where I sit. You know where I feel with this coaching staff. You got to blow it up. You got to start from scratch. I don't want Joe Shane. I don't want Brian Daboll. I also think it is somewhat of an indictment to see Daniel Jones playing well in Indianapolis. Saquon's a different animal because you went to arguably the best team in the NFL with the best offensive line. So, yeah, you're going to rush for 2,000 yards. Giants' offensive line hasn't been good since 2011. But to me, this is an indictment. I think half an indictment on Brian Daboll, and the other half is Daniel Jones needs to get out of New York, and he's excelling in Indianapolis where there's not a lot of pressure. So the blame game can go on and on and on. I just think it's not a good fit, Brian Daboll in New York. And I hope Jackson Dart plays well, but my fear is he plays well and then Daboll gets too much of the credit and then Mara decides we're going to keep him for another year. GM and head coach, lame duck. They should have been gone after last year. All right, you got the baseball tonight. Enjoy the Phillies. I know you guys are getting primed for that. First pitch coming up. You got the Giants and the Eagles. We'll recap everything tomorrow. Lloyd Vance, John Bueller will join us as well. No plays, as I mentioned. I just gave you my thoughts on the games respectively. Appreciate you guys keeping us locked in. Have a wonderful Sports Thursday. Don't forget to get social with me as always at Rich Q on Q, TikTok, Rich Q on Mike, and of course on X. And of course, you can check me out on Facebook and on IG at Rich Q on Q. Always get social. BYP tomorrow. We're dropping that with Lloyd. Also, Caribbean Tropical Bets Ahora. We're dropping that for Channel 82 in Bermuda. We'll get that up and loaded tomorrow. We got some soccer picks. Obviously, Premier League, little low hiatus. You got some World Cup qualifying games that we'll get into and some boxing as well. Big fight in Philadelphia with Ennis in our backyard. So we'll cap that off and handicap that tomorrow as well on Tropical Bets Ahora. We will talk to you tomorrow around 5 o'clock on a Football Friday edition of On Q. As always, I'm Rich Quinones. Be safe. Be sound. Appreciate you guys tuning us in on this Thursday edition. And as always, hasta luego, buen día.